Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, news director at Backyard Broadcasting. Last spring, I had the privilege of visiting Montgomery Park and experiencing the fun of Summer Alive, a summer day camp and food program in its 9th year this year for over 100 area children. For the summer of 2020, though, COVID-19 has changed the plan for Summer Alive, but not the need for summer meals and activities for the kids. Food Director Tina Tickle, I'm so sorry I won't be able to be there in person this year.
I know, that was awesome.
And now we have to just do it over the phone, even though there's still fun things going on in Montgomery this summer, aren't there?
There are.
First of all, Tina, you are sort of a representative there. You're almost like the co-director.
I direct the food program. Our program director is a very good friend of mine, Luann Potter. So we work together, and Luann does the activities and a lot of the grant writing part of our program, and I handle the food part of our program.
Now, the food this year has been certainly under a lot of scrutiny in Pennsylvania, and the USDA food program is something that you definitely are looking toward very much this summer, like you do every summer, but it's almost a little more serious this year.
It's really serious, and, you know, the facts are that 37 million Americans struggle with hunger, and out of those 37 million Americans, 11 million of them are children. And, you know, food insecurity doesn't just mean that you don't have money to buy food. It means that children can be limited to enough good food to really support a healthy lifestyle. So we like to make sure that our meals are not only fulfilling the USDA requirements, but fulfilling them with as much fresh produce as we can put into the meals. So that's one of the things this year that we're struggling, you know, with the food bank to get the fresh produce that we would normally have available to us. So things have definitely changed, you know, with the virus.
Tell me a little bit about the overview of the Summer Alive program that you worked with Luann, and you've done this over several years now.
That's right. I believe this will be our 7th year going into providing the meals. And Project Coffee House is the parent nonprofit charity of Summer Alive, and we are a site for the USDA Summer Food Program. We provide takeout breakfast and hot lunches to 100 children ages 18 and under in Montgomery and the outlying rural area. And we will be delivering those meals and having them available for pickup Monday through Thursday, starting May 26th and running until July 30th.
You have families that come every year, don't they, and bring other children because they've had so much fun with the activities. Now that there aren't going to be activities, what are the plans that you have to help keep children engaged for the summer?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because we have some very cool things that are going to be going home with the children along with the wonderful food that we'll be giving them. We just picked up a bunch of these seed grow kits. So the children are going to be given some gardening activities. And we have 20 different varieties of vegetables, and these were made available to us by the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank, and they really are an important part of our program, too. They provide us with low-cost food items and also, every now and then, some pretty cool activity items for the kids, so the children can do their own gardening at home.
Like their own tomatoes and stuff?
Oh, yes. There's just a wonderful assortment of 20 different garden vegetables and herbs that the kids, they literally just put this little tablet into the little pot and you add water and it just magically expands and you put your little seed mat on top, sprinkle some dirt, and voila, you have created your own little vegetable that will be ready to eat in 6 weeks, actually.
I wish somebody would have helped me grow onions back then. I'd like them more now.
Yeah, well, onions is one that's a tough one for the kids, so don't feel bad that you don't like it.
Well, you are certainly busy. Does this come to you like all packaged, or do you have to seek out all these things to make sure the kids have a good summer?
We have to seek them out, and I spend an incredible amount of time looking for not only the best deals on, you know, the items we need to make the meals, but also extra things that especially are free. We don't have a lot of money in our budget. You know, with 100 children, costs can get out of control on the activities, and so we rely on a lot of grants and donations from people to be able to do the activities with the children. So anytime we get anything like the grow kits, it's just, you know, something very exciting for us. And we also have this year, we'll be sending out culinary kits, And the children will be able to make simple things like we'll give them all the ingredients to make mint tea, for instance,
Cool.
and the instructions on how to do it so they can make some things at home. And we'll even be doing granola culinary kits and some other simple things so that the children will be able to create recipes at home, just like we would normally do in our program if it was running with all of the activities.
When the coronavirus sort of first came to our knowledge here in March and you were coming up on Summer Alive here in Montgomery for the children, what were your first thoughts? Like, did you think, okay, here's the way that we're going to make it work? Or are you sort of creating it as you go?
Well, we weren't sure at first because everything happened so suddenly. We weren't sure if there would even be a program.
Mm-hmm.
And we really had to put our heads together and decide whether it was feasible. We put our application in after discussing it, and from there, you just go into that mode of, I have to do this and I have to do this in order to get everything to work out. So from the time we submit our application to the USDA, we are busy every single day. Hours and hours every day are spent doing paperwork, budgeting, planning, and securing the food that we need to put the items on the menu out for the kids. So it is an incredible amount of time once you commit to the application.
When the season actually starts, is your work going to be a little different from last year?
It's going to be a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing the meals for pickup, and we'll be doing some delivery to some homebound families, so there will be no congregate setting where the children will sit and eat at a table like we've done in the past years. So that means everything has to be disposable from, everything that we send to them has to be disposable. So we had to plan on purchasing a lot of things that we normally wouldn't buy. In a normal season, the Summer Alive children would be using only one disposable item for a meal, and that would be a paper plate. Everything else they use, we wash. And we teach the children to actually help with the washing of the silverware and the cups and the trays that they use. So this year, everything has to be disposable, and all the items have to be able to be delivered. So it definitely changed our menu, and it increased the cost for all of the disposable items that we had to purchase, so that when we deliver the meal, we don't want the gravy spilling into the peas.
Right.
We had to keep the gravy and the peas separate.
You typically have a lot of teachers who come and help at Summer Alive. Do you have a lot of feedback coming back from some of the teachers that normally would help about how they can be a part of it this year?
We do. We rely on a lot of information from teachers and other people in the community to help guide us. Unfortunately, we can't really have a lot of volunteers at the food site just because for safety reasons. We do have discussions with teachers about how we can utilize the money we get and turn them into activities for the kids that we can send home. So the teachers have been working with us, but at a distance this year.
It does sort of seem like it could create some really fun online or virtual things for the children that may have internet access at home.
That's true, and we have a teen staff that we formed last year. The teen staff were part of our kitchen crew, and they would make simple recipes with the children. And then the recipes that they made would sometimes become a meal component. So using the teen staff to make the food caused the children to be more interested in what that meal component was.
Okay.
Last year, we were able to feed the children 1,500 pounds of fresh produce.
Neat.
Mostly acquired from the food bank in Williamsport. So the children loved the food that the teen staffers made because they had a role in creating that food. So the teen staffers this year cannot be part of our program because we just can't have that many kids in our kitchen.
Sure.
It's not feasible with the virus. So several of our teen staffs have already taken the Chef Video Challenge and created videos at home using the recipes and ingredients that we dropped off on their doorsteps.
That is so cool.
we're just trying to find things for them to do. So their next challenge is going to be to follow the instructions on the seed kits that we got and get them to grow, because we don't even know, how long is it going to take them to sprout. So the next teen challenge will be to take the seed pod kits that we have and videotape themselves putting the seed pod kits together.
I love that. I'm sure the teens are just so excited to be a part of it anyway. I mean, they're at home anyway making videos with their favorite music probably. This is something that helps kids that are younger than them.
Yep, true. I think the kids are just getting so bored right now. They'll take about any challenge we throw at them.
Well, let me make sure that we have enough people. We want to get those 100 kids to the Montgomery Summer Alive program this year. Are their parents responding now?
We have almost fulfilled the available slots we have. Now, we do still have some slots open, but the registration is limited to a little over 100 children, and that's just because we have to budget way in advance.
Sure.
And we can exceed that number by a little bit, but we just don't have the funding to do much more than that without donations. One of the things, not necessarily registration, if there's any family in need or any child that is hungry, we will never turn away any child under the age of 18 that wants to be fed. And that's always been our policy no matter what. So we've always been preparing maybe 10% more meals than what we anticipate that we need, because we just never know who's going to come around that might not have known about our program.
Sure.
But what we really need this year are donations. We need in-kind donations of fresh produce, because we're not sure with the food supply if we're going to have access to the produce at the food bank that we had last year.
Right.
So we reached out to local gardeners and greenhouses to help us fulfill what we need for the vegetable components of the meal with fresh local produce. So we're still taking messages from people who want to grow certain things, like if you have tomatoes started early in your hothouse and they're going to bloom and produce fruit before a normal tomato plant would that was not grown in a heated hothouse, then we would be interested in speaking with you about procuring some of your produce. You can also make monetary donations by going to our website, summeralive.org, and using your credit card, or you can mail a check to us made out to Project Coffee House, the P.O. Box 42, Montgomery, Pennsylvania, 17752. Donations are really important this year because we had to increase our staff, and the cost of our disposable items has already totaled almost $1,400.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
just things we would never normally use that are going to be thrown away just because we have to deliver, and we can't have the children eating at the table in the kind of congregate setting that we would normally use.
Are you able to receive donations for paper products, or is that something that's more mandated in a different way?
We have paper products. The plates, we have to have a certain kind of compartment plate, and the planning process had to be done way in advance, because when you're dealing with 100 children a day, and we're doing breakfast and lunch, so that's 200 meals a day, we had to be sure that the plates that we were getting were all a uniform size, and that the foil that we were getting to cover them with was the right size to go with the plates.
I see.
So we've already purchased all of the paper plates that we anticipate that we need. We focus on not only giving the kids good meals, but we try not to have a lot of waste. And we actually would measure our waste in the congregate setting where the children all eat together. In a normal Summer Alive season, the waste goes into buckets that are taken and fed to farm animals, and the children will separate the waste so that then we may weigh whatever was wasted, and we know exactly how much produce was wasted out of the meal. And the amount of produce that we had wasted last year was so minimal compared to the amount of fruit that the children actually consumed that we realized the children will eat fresh fruit and produce, but the children are very particular about certain things like texture. So we have recipes where certain foods the children will eat if the texture is right. You know, it's not hard to get them to eat healthy food if it looks good and it tastes good, and you've paid a little bit of attention to things like texture and separation of the components on the plate.
Getting us to eat well for the rest of our lives. You guys are really starting the program on a bottom level.
That's exactly right. That's our goal.
I'm just so glad that we have the Summer Alive program, and you're such an example. Keep helping the kids. It's really what it's all about.
Yep, if you keep your focus on the well-being of the children and put other things secondary to that, you really won't fail in any kind of children's food program.
Well, Tina Tickle, thank you so much for your information. We're going to make sure that we have information to folks that can donate to the Summer Alive program. Find out all the details at summeralive.org, right?
That's right.
And then can send generous donations to Project Coffee House at P.O. Box 42 in Montgomery, Pennsylvania, 17752.
Yep, and we can also be found on Facebook, Summer Alive on Facebook. If you like our Facebook page, you'll be able to see all of the photos and posts that we put up regularly and keep in touch with the program and what we're doing here in Montgomery.
Well, I am sorry that I couldn't come out this year to see the Summer Alive program in the Montgomery Park on 1st Street, right? Is it right down there in downtown Montgomery?
It is, and that's the largest park in Lycoming County. That's normally where our program takes place.
All right, well, we'll see you there in 2021. But for this year, we're going to be donating as much as we can of the funds that we have, as well as just lots of prayers and good spirit for you guys.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Tina Tickle, good luck, and give Luann Potter a big elbow bump for me.
Okay, take care.
InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701. Attention Freddi Hammer. Or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archived programs of our InTouch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Thanks for listening to InTouch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.